Good evening, Bridgeport. Thanks for coming out. Have a nice crowd tonight. Nice to see you all. This is Tuesday, January 28th, 7:36. We are called to order. Please rise and pledge the flag. Thank you, everyone. Angela, roll call, please.
Laura Hauk.
Here.
Amy High.
Here.
Kyle Shank.
Here.
Megan Nolan.
Here.
Diane Gundrum.
Here.
Tony Heil.
Here.
Saba Al-Zayed.
I am here.
Madam President, we were in executive session from approximately 7 o'clock to approximately 7:35 with regard to land acquisition, sale, and a personnel issue with regard to the Bridgeport Police Department and disciplinary action.
Thank you, Mr. Bello. First up here on the agenda for council consideration are January 14th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion. Second.
Motion from Ms. Hauk, second from Ms. Gundrum. Do we have any questions or comments from council or the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Next up for council consideration, we have authorization to hire Michael Danzio as part-time patrol officer with an oath ceremony coming up. So, Chief, we'll let you take it away.
All right, good evening, everyone. We'd like to introduce our newest part-time police officer for action this evening. Michael D'Annunzio of Audubon is 24 years old. He's a graduate of the Valley Forge Military Academy High School in 2019. He's a graduate of Coastal Carolina University in 2023, where he has multiple what was a BS in intelligence and national security issues. He attended in the earlier years Camp Cadet. He is a police officer having graduated from the Montgomery County Police Academy in June of this past year. We're looking forward to meeting his mom, Wendy, and father, Bill, are here to witness the swearing in. And we're glad to invite the newest member into our Bridgeport family. So, Michael, would you mind meeting the mayor up at the podium, please?
All right, so please repeat after me. I, Michael D'Annunzio,
I, Michael D'Annunzio,
do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend
do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, we'll stay. We're going to get a couple more pictures. Mom, do you want to get up here and get a couple more pictures? There we go. Maybe slightly to the side there. There we go.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Mike.
Good luck with the Lord. Then we'll see you next time. So you'll be back on Friday, and if any communications, I'll check with you.
Well, thank you, Chief, and thank you, Michael. And Chief, I would say that the kind of people that you've been hiring of late, the last few years, really demonstrates the professionalism of your office. We've had some great hires in the past few years. You can see them on the street, and if you interact with them, and I think that's a testament to the leadership throughout the police department and reflects very well on Bridgeport.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Congratulations, Mr. D'Annunzio. Looking forward to seeing you out there. And although we're super excited to see everyone here, we have a long agenda, and if you don't want to go through it, you don't have to. You're welcome to head home. Have a good night.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Next up on the agenda, we have an announcement of the 2024 Bridgeport Best Decorated Homes Contest winner. Thank Chief again.
All right, good evening again, Bridgeport. So our holiday lighting from the December timeframe, although the holiday season's over, our influence on our residents and their festive decorating is still with us, along with the snow. Our Bridgeport PD officers took notes during the Christmas break as to which homes were the best decorated in each of the 3 wards. So starting off with Ward number 1, and she contacted me and is unable to make it tonight, is 114 West 6th Street. The owner is Eileen Daly. Her son, who's in college and is away, she wasn't able to break away today to come here to receive the award, and that's at least 2 years in a row. Honorable mention for First Ward is 213 Mill Street. But for Ward number 2, I know we have some winners here. So Ward number 2 is 363 Prospect Street. Folks, do you want to step up to the podium and meet the mayor there? The owner is Kenny Frymore and his daughter Elizabeth Witherspoon. So congratulations on your festive decorating. May it carry over with more and more and more of your neighbors. And honorable mentions are 422 Union and 414 East Rambo Street. So congratulations, Elizabeth. Many congratulations. And for Ward 3 winners also another continuous performer here. 113 East 4th Street, and we have the folks from 113 East 4th Street want to come up. It has the owner listed as Jose Trinidad Rojas, and I know that you do not look like a Jose. Yeah, it's my dad. It's your dad. Now, did you really do the decorating and your dad just owns the place? So next time we'll strike that out and put the real names of the workers that got the job done here. But congratulations, and honorable mentions are 114 West 6th Street, but congratulations to the whole Rojas family for a job well done. And not only that for your ward, but this year you are the overall winner of Bridgeport. So again, a double congrats for hard work done. May you be able to get some of your neighbors to add to the festivities here.
Chief, I think our best bet is probably just to leave them up all year, and then next year they'll be equally. Yeah.
Congratulations. All right, next up on the agenda is a proclamation for a Holocaust Remembrance Day. I believe that is the mayor. Mayor Jackson.
Thank you. So as some of you may know, yesterday, I believe, was a Holocaust Remembrance Day. And in honor of that, in commemoration, we have a proclamation. So this proclamation recognizes January 27th, 2025 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day in Bridgeport Borough. Whereas the Holocaust was the state-sponsored, systematic persecution and murder of an estimated 17 million people by the German Nazi regime under the leadership of Adolf Hitler between 1933 and 1945, and whereas German Nazis not only targeted the European Jewish population, but countless others, including Romani, mentally and physically disabled individuals, homosexuals, Poles, communists, Soviet citizens, socialists, and Jehovah's Witnesses, due to perceived racial and biological inferiority and on political, ideological, and behavioral grounds. And whereas on January 27, 1945, Soviet soldiers opened the gates to Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest and deadliest concentration camp, and liberated more than 6,000 prisoners, most of whom were ill and dying due to the horrors they were subjected to by their captors. And whereas in 2005, in commemoration of the importance and significance of that event, the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted a resolution establishing January 27th as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And whereas January 27th serves as a day, both a day on which the lives of those who perished during the Holocaust are honored, and on which a commitment to human rights is reasserted by rejecting any denial of the Holocaust as a historical event, and educating new generations of the atrocities that transpired in an event to prevent future acts of genocide from occurring. And whereas the General Assembly of the United Nations also encourages, as part of its original declaration in 2005, that this day be used to condemn all manifestations of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against individuals or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief whenever they occur. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Jax here. Mayor, I appreciate all the efforts for you to kind of commemorate these moments, and I think since I've been on council in the last 2 or 3 years, this is more than once where I've seen in the middle of busy schedules and us focusing on all these different things on the agenda, that you always make sure that important things are important and they're taken care of and commemorated in this way. So really appreciate your efforts and work and extra work on things like this to kind of take care of things that are really important. So I appreciate you. All right, we can move on into an update. I have a really quick update this week. Basically wanted to kind of highlight Bridgeport Elementary and our collaboration with them on the Community of Colors project. We've had, I think, over 60 pieces of art hung up around businesses in Bridgeport. And if you don't know a lot about this project, we've collaborated with the elementary school to highlight their top artist every month. And we collaborate with a business in town to hang them up where the kids get to go enjoy seeing their art and be proud of their art around town and show it off to their friends and family. But then also the businesses benefit from the families visiting. So it's kind of a win-win situation and really exciting for everyone. This month is in Puddlers, right across from Fosse Falls. So I will be going there probably this weekend to enjoy some of the artwork. So I encourage everybody to take a look. I will be posting the dates that it'll be up. We're not entirely sure, but we will have some solid dates in the coming days on Facebook. So look out for the actual announcement there. But really encourage everyone to kind of go over there, take some pictures, congratulate the artists if you see them, and patronize these businesses that are helping us support our kids in town. And I also wanted to kind of thank the chief for all the wonderful events that you have and programs similar to the one that we just had. I think that, decorating your house is tireless work. It's something that takes a lot of creativity and a lot of effort, and especially in this time, it's very cold. I know I was hanging out of a window at some point personally in my house, so maybe some danger involved. But I think it's so special because I think maybe, I don't know if all of us, but many of us drive in our cars, maybe with a hot chocolate in our hand and take a look at all the houses, and we spend multiple evenings just doing that as an activity. So I think that, it helps build community, and I think that encouraging it through something like the program that you just had is wonderful. So really thank you for those efforts. Yeah, that's all I had. And we can move on to our next item for business. Here for council consideration, we have authorization to use the Borough Hall for a blood drive on March 5th, operated by the Red Cross and Bridgeport Elks Lodge 714. Do we have, oh, sorry, go ahead.
If I may, just really quickly, President. Within the last several weeks, I was contacted by the Red Cross. They were asking if the borough had any facilities that were big enough to house a blood drive, and if the borough would be interested in hosting a blood drive. And I said, you know, obviously, I have to speak to council first, but I can't see why we would turn down that opportunity. Next, they asked me if we have any local organizations like a Rotary or a Lions Club that could help staff the event. And immediately my thoughts went to the Elks Club. I hooked the Red Cross up with the Elks Club, and the Elks were very interested in engaging. Apparently, they have previously and historically held blood drives, but for one reason or another, they had to stop those a couple years back. So perhaps this is the start of the rekindling of a helpful community event that our friends over at the Elk Lodge and our friends at the Red Cross will help bring to the borough. As mentioned in the motion, it's March 5th, and the hours would be 1 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I move to approve the authorization.
I'll second.
Motion from Mr. Shank, second from Ms. Gundrum. Do you have any questions or comments from council or the public? All those, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thanks to the Elks Lodge for always being there for us.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely second what Tony said. I think it's really wonderful that we have them in town. I think, having the Elks Lodge here, especially with all the events even that they throw, and I think it was last week where they were giving away some items and food, and I think they really take care of the borough in a lot of different ways, and shout out to them. All right, we can move on to our next item here. For council consideration, authorization to execute collective bargaining agreement between the Borough of Bridgeport and the Teamsters, Local 384.
I'll make a motion to execute the bargaining agreement, and thank you to those organizing it.
I'll second.
Motion from Mr. Hyle, second from Ms. Nolan. Do you have any questions or comments from council or the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next up for council consideration, we have a motion to determine disciplinary action for Bridgeport Police Department personnel.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Shank, second from Ms. Hauk.
We need a motion to terminate or not terminate the officer in question.
Could we have those, Mr. Shank, do you want to restate?
I can
Motion to terminate or motion?
alter my motion,
Yes.
or do we need two approvals?
No, you can alter your motion.
And I would alter my motion to ratify disciplinary action and terminate the officer in question.
I will second it.
Okay.
And for the record, the officer is Officer Shannon Sell.
Thank you, Mr. Bello. Do you have any questions or comments from council or the public? And for the record, we had a motion to terminate again from Mr. Shank and from Ms. Hauk. Yeah. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
To terminate. Any opposed? That motion to terminate carries. Thank you. For council consideration, traffic and parking subcommittee recommendations, disabled space request 660 Bush Street. No, 660, I'm sorry, Bush Street. Do you have any context for that, Mr.?
Sure, thank you, President. Members of council, in your packets, you'll find a disabled parking space application packet, along with a recommendation from the Traffic and Parking Subcommittee, who, along with Traffic Safety Officer Bailey, reviewed this request. The applicant, well, let's reverse and go back to the property. The property, 660 Bush Street, is located in such a manner that there is no ability to create a rear entry parking area off of Lion Alley. The immediate rear of their yard is also posted no parking, so they cannot park parallel off-street off of Lion Alley to the rear of their yard either. Additionally, the front of their property is along that stretch of Bush Street that is extremely, a very sheer cliff, you know, the stairway that leads up to the heavens, if you will. So given the nature of the applicant's request, the disability in question, and the fact that there are no other parking spaces adjacent to or within the vicinity of this block, it was the recommendation of both Traffic Safety Officer Bailey and the Traffic and Parking Subcommittee that council approve this request. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'll make the motion to approve the request.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Ms. Nolan, second from Mr. Heil. Do you have any questions or comments from council or the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Next up for council consideration, we have approval of bills and salaries for January 2025. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills and salaries.
I'll second.
Motion from Mr. Heil, second from Ms. Gundrum. Do we have any questions or comments from council or the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. We can move on to unfinished business. Are there any items of unfinished business anyone would like to discuss? All right, since we have none, we can move on to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports?
I will say we had a finance committee meeting last week, and I thank Mr. Truman for providing some details on our very nice financial situation over the last few years. A lot of one-time funding, revenue streams from the new construction and new homes and businesses in town. We will be reviewing how earned income tax comes in the next few months to see how that continues to look out for the financial welfare of the borough and our residents and make sure we can continue doing that to be financially viable and take care of things in a fair way. The other thing to keep in mind, we did talk about with events, if it might make sense, and the events committee can consider this with the money that's appropriated for that, maybe a marketing video or something along that line that can market all of the events. So that's something, we're not going to determine that in finance, but just was something where we said, oh, we have this money, may be good for promotion of the borough, and that's up to that committee to decide. But I'm glad that we're able to entertain that, and we'll have more review after the spring tax collection season.
Are there any other committee reports? All right, we can move on to the mayor's report. Mayor Jack's here.
Great, thank you. This week, I'd like to announce that everyone should mark their calendars for our annual Founders Day event. This will take place on Saturday, March 29th from 12 to 4 p.m., with the rain date being the next day. This year's theme is local businesses and commerce, so make sure to explore our main exhibit, highlighting businesses from today back through our founding. And we'll also be honoring our Lifetime Award winners, local business owners Lauren Latanzi, Dennis Demetrius, and Dr. George Homa. We welcome you in joining us to celebrate their legacies and impact on our community. We're also including a chili cook-off competition this year. It's free to enter your recipe and only $5 to try them all at the event and vote for your favorite. And the winner gets a nifty $50 prize. So if you're interested in entering, please register with the link that'll be on my official Facebook page, the QR code on any of our signs around town, or with the link from the Borough Blast that we'll be asking to be sent around shortly. And as always, please reach out to me with any questions. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jack's here. Very exciting with the new competition element. I like it. All right, Chief Beretta, it's all yours.
Well, I don't know if Frosty Falls has chili-flavored ice cream. That might be contrary completely to that, but I thought I'd throw it out there. You usually rise to the occasion, Councilwoman.
It looks like chili.
Yeah.
That kind of weird.
But on a more serious note, across the street from Frosty Falls, we did have a burglary. Someone broke into Puddler's, forced entry burglary. We're looking for a white male, 20s to 30s, that stole an empty cash drawer eventually. So we've tracked him through cell phone, or excuse me, not cell phone, but like doorbell and camera footage. So we're continuing an investigation. I'm hopeful that we can identify who this person is, and then we'll have some evidence to be able to place them besides video evidence. In the area of 9th and DeKalb on the 16th, we made an arrest of a Mr. Cargill, who was in the area when we had a complaint of people looking in cars. This individual in a vehicle with multiple people was stopped. He eventually fled. It was a pursuit. He was caught in a foot pursuit. We arrested him. He was wanted on warrants, and we recovered a stolen handgun from inside that car. So he is resting comfortably at the Montgomery County Prison. We had a few arrests, retail theft and disorderly conduct arrests from the area of Wawa and the 4th Street corridor as well. Like to again thank council for approving the different changes that we have for training. We have 2 officers. It's their 2nd week in Command and Leadership Academy, and 2 officers attending this week the POSIT training, which is police first line supervisory training. So that's good stuff. We just want to remind people, I did put out a post before, if it's less than 12 inches within 24 hours, to clear your sidewalks. If it's greater than 12 inches, you have, I believe, 72 hours to clear your sidewalks to a 24-inch width. So the important thing is, if not for you, if for your neighbors, help your neighbors. So many different people I talk to, they just automatically shovel their neighbors or use their snow blower on their neighbors. I just don't think that we're done with the weather. So be cognizant of that, clearing off the roadways. If you have a fire hydrant on your property, please clear that out if the snow gets high around it, so that the firefighters who come out in the middle of the night don't have to work any more hard than they already do. As an additional thing within parking, parking has always been an issue in Bridgeport. Make sure you keep up on your inspection, registration, and making sure your car is in drivable condition. If you're going to park it on the borough streets, parking is a premium, and to be fair for your neighbors, to be able to not have to walk further. If you have a car that does not meet those requirements, before we meet through a ticket, please remove your car from a street or get it street worthy. That's all I have for you tonight. Thanks, Bridgeport.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, I know some residents were concerned about accidents on DeKalb with the way that the cars are, especially around 5th and 6th in DeKalb. And I know we put signage up there, and it's a state road, so a lot of things are kind of out of our control. There's only so much we can necessarily do unless we spent $1 million. But is there anything that we can say that our officers are doing to look out for accidents and speeding on both DeKalb and on Ford, because those are state roads, and I'm always asking about those roads in particular?
Yes, sir. So whenever people talk about certain intersections, lights, stop signs, I listen to what you say. I watch social media. Most recently, because of parking conditions closer to the newer development off of Depot Street and East Front Street, we've had additional enforcement there. I move enforcement around. Probably about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, to help with the issues that were on 5th and DeKalb. We signed that from like 4 to 6 p.m. and I believe it's from 7 to 9 in the morning, right turn only. So whichever direction you're coming on 5th Street to DeKalb, so that you don't cross over a lane of travel, you can only make a right turn. You can't go through the intersection completely. The number of accidents, I remember going back to that point, was not so great that would warrant a signalization warrant with PennDOT. They would not do it just because of the distance, the close distance between that and the 4th Street light, so they won't signal it. But for the first 90 days after we installed signs, we didn't cite, we just warned, and every day I had people both morning and evening out there stopping and warning, stopping and warning, and stopping and warning. So I will have some police officers do some additional enforcement around there and bring attention to that. We'll also review to see if an additional sign on the other side of the street, both sides of the street, would be in order if we can't get something greater done to the intersection. The important thing is take your paths, be careful with some of these roadways that might generate higher speeds, and you might want to modify your route to places so that during certain critical hours, you're not crossing over, you're making right turns. I know that's not always possible, but just so that it keeps your route safer, you might want to change your route a little bit. But I know it's a well-established route and people want to use it.
And I appreciate that you monitor social media. I do hope that people don't rely on social media as their way to reach out to the police by just posting online. Nothing against going on Facebook or whatever. There's reason to be against Facebook, of course. But so I know that if they have questions, they can reach out to you personally. They can reach out to the mayor, and she'll bring it up to you, or I can bring it up to the borough manager, because we do have a very responsive staff, including our police department. And I would encourage people to reach out directly so you can get a full response instead of waiting, because sometimes that you might not see it. You may end up being on vacation, be busy being a police officer at that time. So I don't want people to rely on you just having to see a post online. Thank you.
True. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, we can move on to open forum and announcements. Does anyone have any announcements this evening? I don't know that it was specifically an announcement, but I just wanted to update everybody on the Sharps conversation that we had a couple of, meetings ago at this point. Mr. Truman went and did a bunch of research, so thank you for the time that you spent doing that. We did a bunch of reading, talked to a couple of people, including Mascaro, specifically as it relates to this topic, and then the county as well. Just trying to understand kind of what the typical experience looks like, what the recommendations are from them, and what is safe and what is actually kind of being recommended. And we found that actually the best way to take care of Sharps is to kind of put them in a big plastic bin, tape it up, and throw it into your regular trash. It seems to be the most reasonable way to take care of them in that way, and that's kind of what's been recommended to us, and that's what the county's also recommending. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand and know that when someone brings something to our attention, we do a lot of research. We really try to understand what's happening around us. For me, the conversation has not ended. I'm trying to find other ways where maybe we can collaborate with a local pharmacy or something like that. So we'll continue the conversation, and as better and more optimized methods come available, we are open to them and always open to you guys coming up and speaking to us and sharing your thoughts if you have them. But I want to also say that another consideration we had is to have something at the borough or something like that. And with previous experience with other items that we've done or other projects that we've had like that, we find that it might be a bit more dangerous to do something along those lines. So if we assume that everybody in town is going to bring their Sharps to the borough where people tend to gather and do business, if someone was negligent in the way that they drop them off, or if they drop one in the way, or it just kind of increases the transport of them, which then kind of increases liability and increases the danger to us and everyone around us. So what I don't want to happen is that we continue to kind of explore things and then not communicate them to you. I think we try to do our best to do that, but as you know, we're all very busy, so I will try my best to at least give you guys an update. We won't always have the best answer for everybody all the time, but what I want to make sure we communicate is we are putting a lot of effort into your concerns, and if you have additional comments or additional questions, I'm always available, and this council is always available, so you're welcome to come on up and let us know your thoughts. But just wanted to give that update really quick here on announcements. Is there anyone else have an announcement for this section? Fantastic. All right, we can move on to public comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment this evening? All right.
Yes, miss.
Could you please come up to the podium and state your name and address, if you don't mind?
Up where the microphone and the podium is, miss. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Tina D'Alessandro, and I live in the 500 block of Prospect Avenue, and I'm one of the lucky people that got one of these notices about my sidewalk replacement. Could you help me out here? I mean, my sidewalk and curb was fine, up to code. All of a sudden, it's not up to code anymore, so I'm kind of confused on that. And plus, you gave 30 days to repair it or fix it. I mean, I don't think they do cement work in the winter. So.
You're absolutely right, Mrs. D'Alessandro. Let's tackle the second part first. In the letter that was sent out to you and multiple other properties, at the beginning of the letter, it reads verbatim some of the regulations and stipulations from Chapter 485 that governs responsibility, maintenance of curb and sidewalk. in that section, it states that, and per borough code, that the borough, at least per what's written in the code book, has the ability to require repair or replacement of certain pieces of concrete within 30 days. However, in the rest of the letter, we intentionally did not say you must get this completed within X amount of days or face X penalty, because, to your point, it's the dead of winter. You're not going to get a concrete contractor out here, and even if you did, the borough would likely not approve a contract because it's just not the right temperature to pour concrete. The intent of the letter was to notify residents and start the line of communication, get the resident aware of the fact that there is a need for repair or replacement. And I don't know your property off the top of my head. I can't identify specifically what's wrong with yours. I'm happy to meet with you, talk to you, go to your property in the next subsequent couple days. But off the top of my head, I don't know what's wrong with yours or what rang the bell.
Well, I could tell you, there's nothing wrong with my property. My sidewalk is perfect. There's
Okay.
nothing broken. But I have a feeling what it is going to be is the height of the curb.
It is
was-
certainly a possibility.
It was always up to code. Since you've redone the street, I'm assuming that now there's more blacktop and my curb now is not as high. It was always up to code. When it was built, it was up to code.
Okay.
Since the street's been redone, now all of a sudden you're telling me that it's not up to code.
Well, again, without knowing your property off the
Well-
top of my head, I don't know what the issue is, Ms.
That's the only issue
D'Alessandro.
it can be because there's nothing wrong with my cement. It's perfect. I take care of my sidewalk.
I have no doubt that you do, Miss. Just to put a pin in the initial point, the borough does not have an expectation that folks are going to get their curbs fixed in the next 30 days. I'll go even a step further. We realize that it is very difficult to, even once it does thaw out, difficult to find a contractor. You want to pick the right one. You want to get the best price. And subsequently, it can be a financial burden for our residents. So therefore, we are more than willing to engage and talk to our residents, provide extensions where necessary, and there is the potential for some financial assistance, not in the form of a subsidy or money from the borough, but in terms of potentially offering what is in effect a zero-interest loan to residents. So I would be more than happy to discuss this with you. If you wanted to give me a call tomorrow, please. Thank you. And what was your address again, Ms. D'Alessandro?
535 Prospect.
535 Prospect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Does anyone else have any items they'd like to discuss for public comment? Yeah, you're welcome to come up. Please state your name and address for us.
My name's John Finnan of 517 Ford. I was told in the summer that I didn't have to put a curb in as long as I lived in the house. When I sold a house, I would have to put a curb in. Now, what's the deal?
Mr. Finnan, I appreciate you coming out tonight. I would give you the same recommendation that I did Ms. D'Alessandro. Please contact me tomorrow. I would be very interested in hearing more about this conversation that you had. And I am hopeful that we can come to some sort of resolution.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You said that was 500 Ford? 517. Pardon me. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Go ahead. Name and address.
Heather Cosenza, 126 2nd Street. Every time it has snowed 3 times now. the Public Works has been out there immediately doing all the FEMA properties from 3rd Street all the way Green. Every single one is done a few times as it snows, and they're amazing. I think they need a snow blower. I'm just saying.
Ms. Cosenza, you're a few months too early for the capital budget for next year.
Well, maybe next year.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments. Any additional comments?
I think budgeting a snow blower will guarantee there won't be any snow, so it'll be a worthwhile investment.
Madam President, can I revisit one comment that I made?
Most definitely.
Shortly, just for the sense of accuracy. The time limit to clear sidewalks, at least a 2-foot width, cleared of snow, ice, slush, or any combination thereof within 12 hours. And then the clearing of deep snow, when you have more than 12 inches, you have up to 48 hours. So just for the sense of accuracy. So sorry for the inaccurate.
No, thank you, Chief. Yeah, I think it's super important too. I mean, we walk to school every morning, and I remember last year I called you in a panic because none of the kids could get up, walk up the hill to school because it was complete ice. And I do think that the property owners in those properties couldn't do anything about it, so not necessarily to blame, but it gets really dangerous, and it's a walkable town. So thank you for reiterating the rules, because I do think they're really important. And from personal experience and not wanting to slip down a hill, I would appreciate it immensely. All right, do we have any additional items that anyone would like to share? Great, we can certainly entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. It is 8:17. Thanks for coming out.
Go Birds.